From the CSI Baseball Complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet brings to you NCAA Division II baseball action live on the ECC Network. Today's matchup features the Spartans of St. Thomas Aquinas College taking on the College of Staten Island Dolphins. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nicholas Pavona, and I am joined alongside by Joe Foreman. And Joe, the Dolphins coming off a bad loss yesterday in which they had a 5-run lead at one point in that game, 6-1. They blew the lead in the previous inning and was tied at 6-6. Dolphins would regain the lead at 8-6 going into the top of that sixth inning. Unfortunately, a 9-spot for the Spartans led them to a 20-10 win overall in that game. What do the Dolphins need to do today overall to get a big win going into a big series this upcoming weekend with D'Youville?
Well, let's start with the good from yesterday's game. The Dolphins got off to a really good start at the plate. They scored in each of the first 4 innings. CSI has really gotten it done on the offensive side in this series against Stack. And in the first 2 games, they pitched very well. So moving into their series with D'Youville, those are efforts they'll be looking to replicate both at the plate and on the mound. However, they have one more game against Stack here today, and what went wrong yesterday was their ability to protect the lead once again. We've seen that throughout the last 2 seasons. The Dolphins get in front early, but if they need more than 9 outs at the end of a game, those outs have been very tough to come by. Starter Christian Rice pitched really well through the first 4 innings yesterday, allowed just 1 run on 3 hits. But in that 5th inning, things began to unravel for him. He couldn't get through the inning. As you said, the Dolphins relinquished a 5-run lead, and from there, it was all Spartans.
And realistically, for the Dolphins in that game, they had to go to 6 relievers out of the bullpen in that game. And that's big when you go into a game like this today. Obviously, it is a 7-inning game. Of course, I forgot to mention, Joe, I'd be remiss of saying this is the McDonald's pregame show. McDonald's, our proud scoreboard sponsor here at the College of Staten Island. But going back into it, the Dolphins used a lot of relievers out of the bullpen. Christian Rice got into a lot of early trouble in this game. He had to throw 109 pitches in that 5th inning and had to get taken out for Angelo DeFilippis. He gave up the game-tying run out of relief. And overall, Rice gives up 5 earned runs on the day. Dolphins would regain the lead going into after the bottom of the 6th inning. But once that happened, unfortunately for CSI, it just went all downhill for them. Aiden Keelty came out of relief, gave up 4 runs. Stephen Kaliko, who is a starter today for CSI, also gave up 4 runs. Frank Retzlaff gave up 4 runs as well. And Nick Cipoletti, who originally started the game as the shortstop, came in relief for the 9th inning. He also gave up 1 earned run, 2 total for the game. The Dolphins really need a good effort from their bullpen today if they're going to have any chance to have an opportunity this weekend with D'Youville to get into the playoffs.
Well, it's very simple for the Dolphins the rest of the way. They have to be 1 loss better than Mercy. If Mercy does not lose again, the Dolphins cannot lose again. If Mercy loses just 1 game, the Dolphins can lose just 1 game, and so forth. Mercy has 4 games left against Lincoln. Lincoln right now is at the bottom of the conference. So there's a very real possibility the Mavericks could win 3 of 4 or maybe even 4 of 4 in that series. That puts the Dolphins in a very tough position entering their series with D'Youville. I wasn't convinced that the Dolphins wouldn't start either John Esposito or Ryan Kehoe on short rest today. That's how badly the Dolphins need this game. They have to find a way to win today. If they do not, they lose control over their own destiny in the East Coast Conference playoff picture heading into this weekend series with the Saints. And, of course, that's something the Dolphins hope to avoid.
And they need Stephen Kalika to record some outs today. As I mentioned earlier, he did come out of relief in yesterday's game, did not record a single out, did give up a 3-run homer in that 4-run spot that he gave up out of relief, only threw 13 pitches. So the Dolphins need him to be very efficient in this game today. You got to wonder, how long will he go in this game, considering the amount of relievers the Dolphins used in yesterday's game? We did see, Martinez warm up at some point for CSI. You might see him at some point in this game. Depending on how long Kalika can go, if he can get them some quality innings like he did against Lincoln, Joe, they'll have a good chance.
Well, Kalika, one of the most experienced pitchers on this Dolphins team. He's been with CSI for quite some time, and this could be a career-defining pitching performance for him if he's able to give the Dolphins 5 or 6 quality innings in this game. This might be the biggest start of his Dolphins career during the regular season for sure. So for Kalika, this game is very big. For the Dolphins, this game is very big. The run support has been there for the CSI starters most of the way this year. That was not the case in Game 1 of the series. The last 2 games, CSI turned that around. If they could jump out ahead early in this game and allow Kalika to pitch with the lead, that should help as well. But I've said it a few times already for Kalika. This is a huge outing. The Dolphins need to get at least 5 innings from him in this game. They would love to get 6 or more, but I think 5 is a good place to start. You mentioned Alex Martinez, very likely to pitch today. The Dolphins have gone to him quite often out of the bullpen with the lead, and I think without question, if the Dolphins have a lead late in this game, we will see him. Aiden Keelty has also pitched in each of the first 3 games in this series. Is he available today? That question remains. We'll see. Ryan Fiore pitched yesterday as well. The Dolphins have gone to him quite often out of the bullpen in close games, so the Dolphins do have options. However, several of those options have been exhausted through the first 3 games of this series.
Yeah, I mean, we saw about the Spartans' offense yesterday. They put up 20 runs on 19 hits. So that's something the Dolphins are going to have to be very wary of going into this game. Kalika, as I mentioned, did not record a single out of relief yesterday. And you could see maybe Ryan Fiore coming into this game as well for CSI. Only needed 7 pitches to get a one-inning scoreless inning for him. So it will be interesting to see how Mike Morrow decides on who to use out of the bullpen, depending on how long Kalika can go in this game. But you said it, Joe. Probably the biggest start of Stephen Kalika's career here at CSI. A lot is on the line for the Dolphins. They really need a win, getting some momentum going into that series with the Saints starting on Friday. Is there anything you're looking into this game overall, though, that the Dolphins need to pick up on and bounce back from yesterday?
I think it comes down to protecting the lead, Nick. The Dolphins have gotten in front big in 2 of the games in this series. CSI simply has to protect the lead, and I think a big area of concern for them is how the Spartans' offense really clicked late in yesterday's game. They got after it in the second half. As soon as I left, the floodgates opened.
Yep.
When I departed from the CSI baseball complex for the Prudential Center, the Dolphins had the lead 8-7. That lead got away very quickly. By the time I had arrived in Newark, the game had gotten out of hand. It was not over yet as the Dolphins ultimately fell 20-10. And I do hate that I had to depart during the game yesterday, and unfortunately, I may have to do so again here today, as I was not scheduled to work early this week, but I did come in for these 2 games after the rescheduling from Sunday to Monday and Tuesday, and I have the Knicks game tonight, so I may have to depart early. Nick, the call is yours, and we will be back on the call following this short commercial break. Dolphins and Spartans coming up on the ECC Network.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials. Check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends, live sports and watch parties, to Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
And we are back from the CSI Baseball Complex on the campus of the College of Staten Island with the Spartans and the Dolphins facing off in the final game of this 4-game series. Obviously, these games were postponed. It was supposed to be originally played on Saturday, Joe. Got moved to Sunday then got moved to 2 single games on yesterday's game of 20-10. Now today's game being a 7-game final game of the series. Dolphins really need Steven Kalika overall in this game, as we mentioned in the pregame show. He'll be facing a very tough squad, though, in this Spartans team that's coming off a 20-run performance yesterday. What can Kalika do overall to limit this offense from getting on base?
First and foremost, do not walk batters. We've seen that time and time again over the last 3 days. The Dolphins, in games 1 and 2, really did a good job of avoiding walks. They did not do that yesterday. So Dolphins certainly hope to avoid the base on balls in this game. The defensive effort has been pretty good. Dolphins made a costly error in game 1 on Friday. That really hurt them in that game, ultimately brought home the go-ahead run. The Spartans then made some key errors in game 2. So we've seen errors play a role in this series already. The Dolphins will hope to avoid that hurting them in this game. But for Kalika, do not issue walks first and foremost. And you have to attack these hitters and hope for the best. Let your defense make some plays out there, because the Dolphins don't have many other places to turn in terms of bullpen arms.
And we saw in yesterday's game with Christian Rice, he allowed 6 walks in those 4 2/3 of an inning. And that's realistically a big reason why his pitch count was that high in that 5th inning. So if Kalika can limit his walks in this outing, the Dolphins will have a really good chance. But early on so far in this count against Andrew Jemison, he's down 2-0.
And he is working very quickly.
The question would be, is that because maybe of a weather? It is very cloudy here. The sun is shading it a little bit as that one is into left, and it drops in for a single. Iracy was playing deep in that play, and it just falls right in front of him.
Well, I am shocked to see that turn into a double. As Jemison ends up on second base, we'll get a second look at it on replay. That ball was up in the air for what seemed like an eternity, and I said that yesterday. The wind patterns here really not helping out either team defensively. And you may not see that ball come down in left field, but there's a look at it on the replay.
And now gives C.J. Cumbo now an RBI opportunity early on in this game. So if Kalika going to have to work out some early damage here in the top of the first. As that one's low for ball 2. And once again, quickly behind the count, 2-0. Come on here hitting .286 with 4 home runs and 21 RBIs. So that one's called for a strike.
And that's such a tough way to open the game if you're Kalika. You fell behind, got Jemison to put it in play weakly, a pop fly to shallow left, and it gets down thanks in large part to the wind.
And now behind the count 3-1. So Kalika early on having some command issues, and that is something the Dolphins can really not afford in this game. They really could use Kalika to go at least 4, maybe 5 innings for this game to give the bullpen a chance. As he almost hits Combo there. Did not, though. It's ball 4, and early on, first and second, nobody out, Joe. This is not the start CSI really needed.
Well, it was a bad stroke of luck to open the game for Kalika. He got the weak pop-up. That turns into a double. But you can certainly avoid issuing walks, and I get it. You have first base open, but with nobody out, I don't think that's the time to pitch around anybody. Not that he did. However, the Dolphins issue their first walk early, and there were 2 on with nobody out.
And that one is fouled off right there. Now, he does, in this situation, does have the lefty-lefty matchup, so could be looking for a double play ball here to try at least get 2 outs.
I was about to bring up that point. Left on left here.
Andrew Guerra, the batter for the Spartans, as he takes that one high for ball 1. Guerra did have a home run in yesterday's contest, so Dolphins will have to be aware of that. Chance for another home run opportunity here, or at least bring home a run with a single into the outfield. And he hits that one to second. It goes off the glove of Myers and into right field for a base hit. Ulaj bobbles the ball in right field, and that's going to allow the runners to advance. It's an RBI single for Guerra. He advances to second on the error. Second and third for the Spartans, and they're up early, 1-0.
That's another tough break for Kalika on the mound right there. That ball wasn't hit very hard. Not an easy play for Myers at second. You said it. That will go down as a base hit, but there was definitely a chance to keep that on the infield. Ulaj misplayed it in right, and that allowed the runner on first to advance an extra base. So Guerra stands on second. 2 in scoring position, still nobody out.
And that brings up Kyle LaGruda. He fouls that one off. LaGruda in yesterday's game was 2 for 5 with a walk. Did strike out, but a chance here with a single to bring home 2 runs and give the Spartans an early 3-0 lead. Ground ball to Cipoletti. Checks the runner at second. Throw on to first is in time. Runner will score from third. So it's a ground out. Run does advance, and it's now a 2-0 lead for Stack early in this game.
Well, I think mentally that's a big out right there as Dolphins finally get an out in this game, and Kalika perhaps could settle down a bit. Once again has first base open, and another lefty-on-lefty matchup.
It's all about building confidence when you're in these type of starts. Confidence was shaken a little bit early, as the bunt is shown there. Call the ball 1-0. But as you said, Joe, you need an out like that just to build some momentum getting out of this inning. So getting that first out is huge. Just see if you can get the final 2 outs, prevent that runner from second from scoring, and keep it 2-0. As he almost hits the batter there. Count now goes to 2-0.
Ahead of that last pitch, we just got to look at that base hit that brought home the game's first run in there. You saw it on the replay. You could make the case that that error in right field allowed both runners to advance a base and that the runners should have been on first and second.
Yep.
We'll get one more look, and that decision's up to our scorer, Louis Matrone, as to whether or not the runner should have been on third base.
Lou doing double duty today. Also on PA today. Connor quickly up in the count 3-0. First base is open. And he takes a strike to make the count now 3-1. Connor in yesterday's game 3 for 5 with an RBI. Chance here for another RBI with a single. As he hits that one into left field, but it is trending foul. And now the count goes to full at 3-2.
With that, Kalika now at 18 pitches. This is an out that he needs to get. Can't afford to walk the batter O'Connor here after having already thrown him 5 pitches and being at 18 in this inning.
Kalika looking for strikeout number 29 of the season here. And did O'Connor chase at it? Umpire says no, it's ball 4. And the Spartans will have first and second with 1 away.
That's a good at-bat by O'Connor. Credit to him, but Kalika's been around the strike zone quite a bit in this game. And the pitches that have missed badly. I think that's the concern right now.
Now, the good thing, at least for Kalika in this situation, now you have a double play ball once again. So a ground ball here can potentially get the Dolphins out of this inning. As that one goes in the dirt and the commentator's Jinx Joe strikes again, the wild pitch will now let the runners advance, and now there is no double play ball in effect, second and third.
My response was about to be, you were saying? And that's something you have to factor in when you're having command issues, the potential for a wild pitch.
Dangerous hitter, considering what he did in yesterday's game. Greg DeJaro, 3 for 5 with 5 RBIs in that game. Had a towering shot into left field against the Dolphins. And he's quickly up in the count 3-0. And you got to believe, Joe, with first base open again, 3-0 count, they might just walk him here to try to load the bases.
There is action in the Dolphins' bullpen. I'm not sure how much longer Mike Morrow is going to let Kalika go.
Well, the walk is issued, an unintentional walk there. And now the bases are loaded for Sean Lynch. Only 1 away. They do have the double play ball in effect again. But you're right, Joe. There is action up in that Dolphin bullpen. I'm trying to get a good look at who is up in the Dolphin bullpen.
I think that might have been Fiore. I think it is Ryan Fiore, number 35 down there. And it is.
Now, the good thing for the Dolphins is he only needs 7 pitches to get through a 1-2-3 inning yesterday. So he is well rested going into this game. So potential to see him here if Kalika gets into further damage. Dolphins hoping for now that to happen. He's up early, 0-1 in the count against Lynch. That one misses for a ball, 1-1.
For as tough as this inning has been, Kalika could just be 1 pitch away from getting out of it right here and only allowing 2 runs.
Just needs a double play ball, something in play. But he misses that one, and it's now 2-1. No bases open for Kalika as well, so cannot afford a walk here. Really needs that second out or potential third out if he can get a double play. That one's through the left side for a base hit. 1 run will score for the Spartans. They're bringing the second runner home. He will score with ease. An RBI single, a 2-run single for Lynch. And it's an early 4-0 lead for the Spartans, and that might lead to a pitcher change here, Joe.
And I think that is certainly going to be the case, as Stephen Kalika will be removed from the game after allowing 4 runs here in the top half of the first inning. And it looks like Ryan Fiore is going to come in for the Dolphins. So Kalika needed a ground ball. He got it. Unfortunately, it was able to sneak through the left side. You have to wonder how this inning could have been different were it not for that leadoff double that came on a pop fly to left field.
Yeah, that's just the unfortunate circumstance for CSI. A ball hit that high in the air. But with the defensive alignment the Dolphins had on that play, there just was no realistic chance for them to get it. And it led to an unconventional double for the Spartans. And they put up 4 runs early in this first inning on just 3 hits and that error, and have an early 4-0 lead with the Dolphins pitching change of Ryan Fiore now in.
And if you take a look at the flag out in left field, it looks like the wind is blowing out to left. So you would have thought that on that pop fly double, it would have helped the ball carry a bit for Irasian left. It did not. And that really set the tone for the inning. And then you follow that with a walk, and things really began to get out of control after that. Kalika responsible for both runners on base, and in just a third of an inning, he walked 3 and allowed 3 hits, and that just won't get it done. Specifically the 3 walks. He did not give up a hard hit ball.
Yeah, I mean, all the hits that the Spartans had were very playable, except for that last hit that they had for Sean Lynch. Went right through Weigel and Cipoletti for the 2-run single. The Dolphins have had their chances early in this inning. Kalika did have some command issues, though. That leads to a pitching change now. Fiore comes into this game, really needing to get the Dolphins these final 2 outs to keep it 4 runs and keep it within reach for them.
And the numbers for Fiore entering today's game bolstered a bit by yesterday's outing. Not sure if he's yet among qualifiers in terms of innings pitched. I don't think so with 10 1/3, but unofficially he leads the Dolphins in ERA at 2.61. Across 8 appearances, he has a record of 0-1. In 10 1/3, he's allowed 10 hits, 4 runs, 3 of those earned. He's walked 3 and struck out 12. Opposing batters hitting just 244 against him.
Now, Joe, you would know better than I would. How long do you think of a leash that Fiore would have, depending on if he can get out of this inning? How many innings could he realistically give the Dolphins today as they try to rally back from this 4-0 deficit?
I think having only thrown 7 pitches yesterday, and given the fact that Kalika only got 1 out, this could become a de facto start for him where he is given a starter's leash. Is he capable of that longevity? We'll see.
Pine early in this count, 1-0. Batter is Christopher Conti. Conti also hit a home run in yesterday's contest. And he's quickly up in the count, 2-0.
From what I was told, there were some shots after I left yesterday, and I got to see the home run by Thomas Martin. That was a bomb as well.
One hit the dead center. First time I've seen a home run hit the dead center. And you're right, Joe. Martin hit one into right center, just like Conti did right there. That will bring home another run for the Spartans. It's an RBI single for Christopher Conti, and it's now a 5-0 lead for Stack here in the top of the first inning.
Well, the Dolphins led by 5 yesterday, and that's the one thing you can look at here if you're CSI and think, all right, we still have a shot in this one, but right now, very few reasons for optimism. The Spartan Bats, just as hot as they were in the second half of yesterday's game, have put up 5 runs here in the first, still just 1 out.
Fiore really needs to try to figure out how to get these final 2 outs. The Stack is a batter away from batting around here in the top of the first, as that one's called for a strike against David Potenza, who was 2 for 5 in yesterday's game with 2 RBIs. Got another RBI chance here with first and third. And he swings and misses at that one, and Fiore quickly up in the count, 0-2.
Strikeout would be big here. It would eliminate the possibility of an out producing a run.
The 0-2. That one's going to be swung on into center field. Playable enough for Burkhead. Catch will be made. The runner from third will tag. He will score with ease. Sacrifice fly for Potenza. And it's now a 6-0 lead for the Spartans.
And there it is, Nick, an out producing a run. Fiore got ahead of Potenza there. Really could have used that strikeout, but Potenza does what he needs to do up there at the plate. Puts the ball in play. Gets it deep enough out to center field. No question the run was going to score on that fly ball. And the Spartans now lead by 6.
And Andrew Jemison now for the second time in this inning will get the bat. Had to double his first time around. And that one's going to be a wild pitch. And now he'll have an RBI opportunity here with the runner advancing to second.
That doesn't change the approach too much if you're Fiore. But if you're the Spartans now, a much higher likelihood that a base hit would score a run.
I know Jemison is looking for an opportunity here. He was 1 for 5 in yesterday's game. So that one misses on the outside, and he's quickly up in the count 2-0.
Since that inning yesterday where the Dolphins led 6-1, that was entering the 5th, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yep.
And I'll elaborate on that point after this pitch.
And Jemison rips that one to third. Nice stop by Weigel. Throw on to first is going to be in time to record the final out at the top of the first. Spartans strand a runner on second, but not before scoring 6 runs on 4 hits and 1 Dolphin error. We go to the bottom of the first. Spartans lead this one, 6-0.
NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student-athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student-athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student-athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Bottom of the first inning here at CSI. Spartans with an early 6-0 lead. And the Dolphins now will have to try to trim away at that lead. But they'll be facing the Spartans pitcher. Give me 1 second on his name.
That's Andrew Alameda, Nick.
Thank you, Joe. Paper's scrambling around trying to find the exact paper.
That's what the color commentator's here for.
That is
I got
right.
the stats for you as well in just a moment for Alameda coming in. Get you those ahead of his first pitch. Though I will say, the sidearm interface and the Presto interface, very different for accessing stats. But I have you the numbers on the Spartans right-hander. In 9 appearances and 9 starts, Alameda comes in with a record of 4-2. In 47 1/3, he's allowed 54 hits, 34 runs, 22 of those earned. He's walked 10 and struck out 33, pitching to a 4.18 ERA.
And Michael Keogh will lead it off for the Dolphins here, as he takes the first pitch for a ball, 1-0.
CSI lineup he will face: Kehoe, Ulaj, Martin, Vigliotti, Weigel, Cipoletti, Burkhead, Iracy, and Myers.
Keogh had a great game in that game yesterday for CSI. 4 for 5 with 2 RBIs. Up at the count early, 2-0. Dolphins looking for an early base runner. And that one didn't look like it missed by much, but now he's up in the count 3-0.
I'm with you. I didn't think it missed by much either. Tight strike zone could help the Dolphins get back in this thing.
And that one now called for a strike to make the count 3-1. Keogh up in the count 3-1 here. And he takes that one for ball 4. So the Dolphins get a leadoff base runner on the walk. And brings up now Shendi Ulaj. You could tell Lou is very excited to say that name.
He sounds like he's enjoying himself. He's doing a great job.
He's doing a great job. Shendi yesterday 1 for 3, scored 3 times in that game. Look again on here. As first pitch is a ball. Lynch checking Keogh at first. We have seen Keogh at times steal bases, so we'd be curious to see if he goes at some point in this at bat.
If he goes trailing by 6 runs, I would be shocked.
I would be shocked too. It says a fly ball to center field. And what a catch. Almost going over the head of the center fielder. That's a big out number 1 for the Spartans there, as Potenza looking like he almost misplayed the ball. Just had to snag it at the very last second. If not, Joe, that would have been an extra base hit.
Well, Nick, that ball really carried out to right center field. Off the bat, looked like a routine fly ball. Ulaj hit it well, but that ball made its way toward the warning track. And that almost got over the glove, the outstretched glove of the center fielder Potenza on that play.
Yeah, it brings up now Thomas Martin for the Dolphins. Been swinging a red-hot bat for CSI. Had a very big home run in yesterday's game as that wild pitch now will allow Keogh to advance to second. So now Martin with an RBI opportunity here if he can get something into the outfield.
Martin got off to a bit of a slow start this year, but the way he's been hitting these last few weeks, it's hard to believe he was out of the lineup for so long.
And he's doing it at the perfect time of the season with the Dolphins trying to get into the postseason. You really need guys to have that stretch. He's having that good of a stretch, and now gives the Dolphins a chance here to trim the deficit to 5 with a single. And he will get a single. Now, I don't believe... Oh, well, maybe not, Joe. They're going to send Keogh home on the error. It went off of Potenza on a hop. Keogh will score, so Martin will get to second on the single and the error, and the Dolphins now make it a 6-1 game.
You're just a walking commentator's jinx, Nick.
I was going to say, the ball was hit to the shortstop, and Keogh had to wait a second because he didn't want to get into a base runner interference. And it looked like he would just been at third base, but because of the error in center field, he was able to score. Martin's able to go to second, and now A.J. Vigliotti will have an RBI opportunity here. As he takes the first pitch for a ball, 1-0.
Well, that outfield, with all the rain it's taken and the bad weather we've had, it's a bit chilly out there today as well. It's going to be a tough outfield today.
And we've seen it in previous games. Sometimes those balls take a deep bounce and it allows stuff like that to happen. As the shortstop, Jemison, slips on the play, he has no throw to first, and Vigliotti is going to be able to reach.
Let's see how they score that. I think they might give him a hit on that one.
I think because of how deep in the hole it was, Joe, I think you have to give him a hit.
I agree.
And they do give him a hit on the scoreboard. So now Vincent Weigel coming up, first and second, one away. Something into the gap. Could at least bring home one and trim the deficit to 4. As he takes the first pitch for a strike, 0-1.
Here's a look at that last play once again. You'll see that chopper hit to short. And it was going to be a close play at first for sure. I think Jemison had a chance, but you can't assume that out.
As Weigel swings that one foul. And we talked about the weather playing a factor in the outfield. It could also play a factor in the infield. And you started right there. Jemison just slipped on the play. He had no throw to first base. Weigel quickly behind the count 0-2 here. As he once again fouls that one off.
With where he's hitting those foul balls, I'm very happy I didn't park in the second row in that corner.
I was going to say, you have to always get early. We say it a lot. You have to get here early at the baseball complex and find a good parking spot, especially in that third row, to avoid any car damage as Weigel takes that one high for ball 1. Count now going to 1-2. Weigel trying to bring home at least a run here for the Dolphins. As that one just misses on the outside. Count now going to 2-2.
Weigel looked pretty confident that pitch had missed.
Lynch did his best to try to frame that one. 2-2. Yeah, another foul ball hit by Weigel.
Good at bat here from Weigel. At the very least, making Alameda work.
He was able to make Alameda throw some pitches and, force a mistake pitch here. It could give the Dolphins a chance to get back into this game. Another 2-2. He hits that one into right field. Will it stay fair? It does! It's dead into the right field corner. Weigel will go to second. One run will score. They're sending Vigliotti home. The throw to the plate. It is not in time. A 2-run double for Vincent Weigel, and the Dolphins now trim this deficit, Joe. It's 6-3.
And what a response by the Dolphins here in the home half of the first. Gave up 6 in the top half, and we appear headed for another very high-scoring affair. We saw 30 runs on 35 hits yesterday. Already 9 runs on 7 hits between the two teams here in the first inning. Here's another look at that base hit by Weigel.
And a good job by Weigel overall in that bat. Fouled off a couple pitches, worked the count to a 2-2. Looked like at first that might have been going foul. Just stays in fair territory. Weigel's able to get an extra base hit, get 2 runs as well. Now it's a 6-3 game. And an RBI opportunity now for Nick Cipolleti as the Spartans have a mound visit.
If you're the Spartans here, what are you talking about right now? The Dolphins have swung the bats pretty well. They've hit the ball hard. Ulaj very nearly had an extra base hit, and that's your only out in this half inning. What is there really to say right now? The Dolphins are locked in at the plate. The Spartans are locked in at the plate. I'm not sure there's much either pitching staff can do right now.
And there's also been a couple of unfortunate mishaps in the field as well. You had Potenza had the bobble ball in center field. Jemison slipped on a ground ball from Vigliotti. The Dolphins have been able to take advantage of that either way and have an early 3 spot here in the first as Cipolleti hits that one into right field. But unfortunately for him, the right fielder is there to make the play. Guerra recording a big second out for the Spartans right there.
And that ball was hit hard as well. Dolphins have really done a good job in this first inning against Alameda. They're seeing him very well at the plate right now, and you can tell by the kind of contact they're making that whatever it is he's throwing, they are seeing.
Dolphins are getting some good early contact in this game. Brian Burkhead now coming up, trying to keep the inning going for CSI and bring home Weigel from second to make this a 6-4 game. Down early in the count, 0-1. If he was able to get on, Anthony Iraci would be next for CSI. And he hits that one up the middle. Going to be a tough play. It's off the glove of the second baseman Cumbo. Here comes Weigel from second. He will score with ease. RBI single for Brian Burkhead, and it's now a 6-4 game here in the bottom of the first inning.
1 inning, 10 runs between these two teams. What a start to this game. And I said it before, what an answer by the Dolphins. You have to love to see this if you're a fan of CSI. The Dolphins not rolling over, not letting that first inning affect their approach at the plate, and it is paying off right now as they've scored 4 here in the bottom of the first.
And considering how the first inning went for CSI, to think that they can now have the tying run at the plate in Anthony Iraci is big. But he hits that one to second base. Cumbo will throw it onto first to retire the side. Dolphins strand a runner at first, not before scoring 4 runs on 4 base hits and that one lone error for the Spartans. We head to the top of the second inning. Sack leads this one, 6-4.
Up to make sure someone is okay.
Get in the way and disrupt the situation.
Notify an authority.
Or walk them home safely.
We can change the language around rape.
We can make campuses safer for our teammates, our friends, and our classmates.
We cannot be bystanders.
Taking action isn't always easy, but it's on us
to intervene.
Because we can. Learn more and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
CJ Cumbo will lead off for the Spartans here at the top of the second inning. A 6-4 lead now for Stack as the Dolphins attacking for 4 runs in the bottom of the first inning. As Cumbo takes the first pitch for a strike, 0-1. Great response from CSI after allowing 6 runs in the top of the first inning. The attack for 4 in the bottom of the inning. And with the way that yesterday's game went, with 30 combined runs between the two teams, we could be on pace for another high-scoring affair here. As that one hits Cumbo, and he'll be on first base on the hit by a pitch.
right fielder, number 33, Andrew Guerra.
I'll bring up Guerra. Guerra coming into this at bat with an RBI his first time up as they check Cumbo at first base. Runner on first, nobody out. Fiore's first pitch hit into center field, and Burkhead is not going to be able to make the play. It's a base hit. The runners will advance. It's going to be a double for Guerra, and it's now second and third, nobody out for the Spartans as they try to increase their lead.
The designated hitter, number 12, Kyle Lagruda.
We have Kyle Lagruda here. Burkhead tried to make the play at center field, tried to make a diving catch. Unfortunately for him, just fell right in front of him off of his glove. And now gives Stack a chance here to increase their lead to 4. If Kyle Lagruda can get a 2-run single here, he's up early in the count 1-0. And when we have a second, we'll show a replay of the play in center field, as that one is called for a strike. Here's a quick look at that one. You see Burkhead trying to get the play on the ball, slid to make the catch, just went off of his glove, and it allows Guerra to get a double, as now Lagruda is up in the count 2-1. First base is open for the Dolphins, so potential they could load the bases, but you really do not want to do that in the situation that you're currently in with a 2-run deficit. Now the count going to 3-1. If he were to walk, it would be Nicholas O'Connor on deck with potential bases loaded opportunity. The 3-1. Just chopped foul. And this is a huge pitch now for Fiore here. Full count, 3-2. A strikeout would be astronomical for CSI in this situation if they were able to get that first out. There is some action up in the Dolphin bullpen. The 3-2 is swung on and missed for strike 3. Huge punch out for Fiore right there. And a big out number 1 recorded by the Dolphins.
And I am back from the room next door, Nick, as that is a huge strikeout indeed for Ryan Fiore with 2 in scoring position and nobody out.
Now, I was mentioning, Joe, there's someone up in the Dolphin bullpen. It looks like maybe Angel Santiago could be coming in to maybe play as a defensive substitution.
He's coming in to pitch, Nick.
Okay. Okay.
I think he has pitched. And if he's warming up in the pen, he's getting ready to pitch. Now, the question we had was how many of the first inning runs for the Spartans were earned? And we had to go back and reconstruct the inning, but it turns out that all 6 are indeed earned.
Okay. And Spartans looking for more here. That one took a nice ding off the pole. Foul to make it 2-1.
That had to be audible over the broadcast. That was quite the doink.
Yeah. Sounded like the Cody Parkey double doink from a couple years ago.
Better off the post holding up the backstop than my ribs.
I'm shocked you're still talking about that situation.
Doink beats a thud, that's for sure.
That's true.
Or a shatter. Took a look down the hall. One of the windows is broken.
I was going to say, I saw that yesterday when we were cleaning up here.
Now, did that happen yesterday? Because I know a ball was hit in that direction.
It might have. It's a very big possibility. I'd have to look back, but I think it's a strong possibility that could have happened yesterday. Half-hearted swing from O'Connor there, and now the count once again is full at 3-2.
Well, if Fiore gets this strikeout, he's in a position where he could get out of this inning unscathed.
And to think of allowing the first 2 base runners on in scoring position to get 2 straight outs on strikeouts would be huge. Got a 3-2 here to O'Connor, and he misses high for ball 4. And the bases will be loaded once again for the Spartans here. And Greg DeJaro with a huge chance here can really open up this game for the Spartans with one big swing.
I don't think anybody that we've had on PA has mastered the monotone announcing of visiting batters quite like Louis Patrone.
It's always that good type of pitch when you're doing it. You need to have the right set of tone of voice to do it. And Lou is doing a good job with it. Jaro on the first pitch was swinging, looking like he wanted another home run like he did yesterday. Down the count early, 0-1. That one misses low. Good block by Keogh. Count now goes to 1-1.
You get one of those swings with the bases loaded and nowhere for the pitcher to put you. You get one of those big cuts. Now I think DeJaro will shorten up a bit, look to put the ball in play, and add to his team's lead.
And that one misses again for a ball, now 2-1. And you have to think DeJaro is going to be looking to try to get something up the middle of the field. A big gap in between Cipoletti and Myers from the second base bag. So something up the middle could easily bring home 2 runs for the Spartans.
Going back to that first inning, they pulled the ball on the ground.
That is a towering shot to left field. Is that a fair ball? That's a fair ball, Joe. It's a grand slam for DeJaro. Hit a big shot yesterday in game with a towering shot into left field. This one, pretty much the same. Just staying fair for a grand slam. It's a 4-run spot there for the Spartans now, and they're back up 6. It's 10-4.
Well, off the bat, I can tell you for sure that DeJaro did not think that was going to be a fair ball. The look he gave it indicated he thought that ball was going foul. He was casually walking up the first base line, and Nick, I think the wind took that one back fair.
We've seen that a lot here with the wind bringing balls back into play. And you're right, DeJaro did not know if that was going to stay fair or foul. Fortunately for him and for the Spartans, it does stay fair. And once again, they are back up 6 runs. Now 10-4. As Lynch hits that one foul. And he's quickly behind the count 0-2.
And that is just a crushing blow to the Dolphins after they got 4 back in the previous half inning. They surrender 4 more here in the second. And we're at a point in this game right now where the Dolphins have recorded just 4 outs. They have to get through 7 innings in this one.
As Lynch takes a half-hearted swing, and he'll be down for strike 3. So now 2 away here in the top of the second, but you're right, Joe. Dolphins really need some outs here from their pitching. Fiore was looking good after that strikeout to get the first out of the inning. Was a strike away. As now there's a warning towards the stacked dugout. Looks like they were not happy with that strike 3 call. So we'll have to see if that maybe leads to a potential ejection or something maybe. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, if there is an ejection, I might have to be the one who escorts the ejected off the premises.
Have you had to do something like that?
I've told the story once, but if you weren't tuning in for that, I'll share it again after this.
Conte hits that one off the CSI dugout foul.
So I've presided over 1 ejection ever as an administrator, and it was the ejection of our own mascot.
Oh, yeah, I remember the story now.
Yeah. Let's just say at the request of our bench, Danny the Dolphin was escorted out of the tank. His home. He got kicked out of his own house.
Very unthinkable. As that one misses for a ball, now 2-1.
So there was a bit of a misunderstanding that led to Danny's ejection. I'll elaborate after this pitch. But it's a funny story looking back at it.
Big swing and a miss there from Christopher Conti. And he's now down, or I should say not down, but he's now even in the count at 2-2.
So what happened is one of our players was fooled by a crossover from the opponent. And fans of the other team were celebrating in the stands.
That one misses for a ball. Now the count full at 3-2.
So during the celebration, Danny the Dolphin was in the middle of it. I think he was initially giving a hard time to the visiting fans, but from the perspective of our bench, it looked like he had joined in on the celebration regarding one of our players falling victim to a crossover. And because of that, they came and got me and said, get him out of here. So Danny was gone.
We've seen Danny on a couple of our post-game speeches, especially from basketball. He's a little bit of he gets a little bit touchy.
He's a little touchy.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Someone might want to tell him, keep his fins to himself.
David Potenza is the batter. He swings and misses for a strike 0-1. Conti reaches first on the walk. Hitting continues for the Spartans here. How long ago was that ejection?
That was, I believe, the fall-winter of 2019-2020. So it was my year as assistant SID. Okay. So that was now at least 3.5 years ago, maybe just over 3 years ago.
Well, hopefully Danny's learned his lesson.
I think he'll be all right.
I think he'll be okay. 1-1 from Fiore. Swung on and missed from Potenza, and he's now down the count 1-2.
Funny thing about it, the story doesn't end there, actually. We went back to the game footage to find the moment when the play in question occurred.
Okay. Conti is in motion, and he'll reach second on the ball in the dirt, so a stolen base from him there. Count now goes to 2-2.
And sure enough, upon reviewing the video, the camera happened to have Danny and those fans in its view when the play occurred, and it was debatable what happened. I don't think we ever reached a firm conclusion over whether or not Danny had joined in on the visiting fan celebration.
A late strike 3 call right there as Potenza is down looking to record the final out of the inning. Spartans do strand a runner on second. We'll get a little bit into more of that story with Danny the Dolphin in the next previous half inning. Not before, though, the Spartans do get 4 on the Greg DiGiaro grand slam. Go to the bottom of the second, 10-4 stack.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag, like facing backwards and look like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back. And my dad was like, we have a prodigy. So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do, be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
And we are back here from the CSI Baseball Complex. A 6-run lead once again for the Spartans on the grand slam from Greg DiGiaro. 10-4 here in the bottom of the second as Jake Myers leads it off. He hits that one foul and is down the count early 0-1.
Well, the Dolphins will hope to give Danny a reason to celebrate here in this half inning after they scored 4 in the bottom of the first.
So it's come to my conclusion that Danny kind of has a case for that incident.
Well, as I said, in my opinion, it was unclear what was happening because the footage isn't the greatest.
Right.
Danny is certainly in the middle of the visiting celebration. Whether or not he was a willing participant is what's up for debate. Okay. He was definitely there. And he was very much in the middle of it, but was he engaging is the question.
That is something I would like to see for myself in determining.
I wish I knew what game it was. I know the year.
Myers hits that one to second. Cumbo plays it on a hop, throws it to first in time to record the first out of the inning.
That's still not the best Danny the Dolphin story. As you know, I've told this story countless times on the air. We'll tell it for the first time this season. Down at softball, we had an ejection behind the plate. We had to escort one of our staff members off the premises. He was ejected for asking the count, I should add. It was one of the most egregious ejections I've ever seen. Asking the count got him ejected, so he's ejected. And moments later, probably about 5 or 10 minutes, Danny the Dolphin shows up. Everyone thought that our ejected staff member was in the suit. He was not. But optically, it certainly appeared that way, and it was very funny.
It wouldn't have been a bad idea.
I'm the kind of guy who would show up in the suit after I was ejected.
Well, you wear your own suit in different occasions.
Well, my suit didn't fit for the Hall of Fame, so we had to audible.
Keogh pops up this combo there for the second out of the inning. Lou is really putting some emphasis on that U.
But did he put any emphasis on the D? I heard Shen Ulash.
I heard Shendi. I heard it.
Good.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Good. If the Dolphins do get into the playoffs, I have a feeling we'll talk to Shendi about it on the Dolphin Pod.
I know Shendi was looking very much forward to it. We talked to him a couple weeks ago.
The issue with scheduling episodes of the Dolphin Pod is that during baseball and softball, we have so many game days that we rarely go more than 2 days in a row without one. At least 2 weekdays in a row, and that's when you have access to the student-athletes on campus. So it becomes very difficult to schedule guests.
Ulash hits that one foul, now down behind the count, 1-2.
Then you have those who are camera shy, which is far more than you'd think.
That one in the dirt now, 2-2.
If you would have asked me 10 years ago or so if I would ever do something like this, broadcasting on a consistent basis, there's no way that I would have said, oh, yeah, I'd jump on that in a heartbeat. So a lot of the time when you have a guest, they realize after the fact how much they enjoy it.
3-2 to Ulash. Hits that one into center field. Going to be a tough play for Potenza, and it falls in front of him for a base hit. So Ulash is on to keep the inning going for the Dolphins. A 2-out single there, and it brings up Thomas Martin.
And here he'll get a second look at that swing by Shendi. First at bat, he crushed one to right center. Didn't get nearly as much of that one, and it turns out that that swing is the one that results in a hit.
Now Thomas Martin comes up. Had a home run, as we mentioned earlier, and he hits that one through into right field for a base hit. Ulash will go from first to third. The throw will not be in time as it was cut off, so the Dolphins will have the corners on for A.J. Vigliotti. And Joe, I was going to mention when Martin was up, a very interesting home run call that we had for that Thomas Martin home run.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It was one of the better ones I've heard.
Okay.
I don't know. It doesn't sound like it was the same for you.
I had one earlier this season that I thought was pretty good.
It was.
I think the issue I took with it is that we went back to the whole G6 bit again.
Yeah.
And before the season started, I had declared that bit retired because the walk-up music was retired.
Vigliotti swung at that one, just hitting the barrel of the bat. Foul 0-1.
Now, as the de facto leader of the Sportsnet operation, I think if I declare the bit retired, it's retired.
That's why when he hit the home run in that game that we're referring to, Alliance, I said he was the classic man. That's his song now.
Well, that was a fine call.
That's
not the one I was talking about.
I know.
I was talking about the other call.
Yeah, I know. Vigliotti now behind in the count, 1-2 here. Dolphins trying to at least get a run here, try to continue this 2-out rally. Vigliotti hits that one to second. Nice job by Cumbo. He'll go the short way to second to record the final out of the inning. Dolphins strand the runners at first and third base in the inning. They do not score a run. We go to the top of the third. Spartans lead this one 10-4.
Wayne State Medical School has been my dream medical school since I was 5. Athletics are important, but so is service, so is research, so is becoming a better person. And we expect you to do well athletically, but don't forget the reason you're here, which is to give back to your community and to get good grades. It was my sophomore indoor season. It was the first year with our new head coach. And he comes in and he's like, we could be a national contending team if you guys work hard. And I heard him and I was like, well, I want to be a national champion. I want to be an All-American. And I bought in because he bought into our team. And I qualified to go to indoor nationals. I decided I wanted it, so I went and grabbed it.
And we are back for the top of the third inning here at the College of Staten Island. A 10-4 lead for the Spartans. Dolphins had a chance to trim the lead in the previous half inning, but unfortunately for them, a ground ball to end the inning. Now a 10-4 lead, and now a pitching change, Joe, here for CSI. Angel Santiago coming on, trying to keep this a 6-run lead.
We spoke about it before. Angel was getting warm in the Dolphins bullpen, and he will indeed come in to pitch in this spot. Dolphins trailing by 6 runs. Now, Santiago has pitched this year in 4 games. He's pitched to a 9 ERA. Across 5 innings, he's allowed 10 hits, 6 runs, 5 of those earned. He's walked 1 and struck out 5. So Santiago does have some innings under his belt this year. Not many. And the Dolphins would love to get 2 innings out of a pitcher in this game. They have not gotten that so far from either their starter, Stephen Kalika, or Ryan Fiore in relief.
And they really need Santiago in this spot, especially now with them facing the top of the order to start off the inning for this Spartans team. So it'll really be up to Santiago to try to keep this game within reach for the Dolphins. They've already been down 6 runs at one point in this game, cut it to 2 with that 4 spot in the bottom of the first. Unfortunately, with the grand slam from DeJaro, it went back up to 6. It'll be up to Santiago to keep it 6 if the Dolphins are going to have a chance. Andrew Jemison will lead it off for the Spartans here. Top of the order for Stack, Jemison, Cumbo, and Guerra.
And one thing to keep in mind, Nick, the Dolphins are down 6 runs in the second inning of a 7-inning game. It does not feel like CSI is out of this game at all. If they could get a couple of scoreless innings in relief out of their bullpen, they could be right back in this.
You have to be very encouraged by how the Dolphins' bats have been in this game.
And in this entire series.
Especially, you said it, right in the series, that they had 16 hits in yesterday's contest and were only out-hit by 3 hits overall in the game.
I think a big part of it is the difference between extra base hits and singles. I don't know if we have the extra base hit numbers from yesterday's game. If not, I'll pull those up. But
I'm counting it from the sheet I have from here. You have the 3 home runs, the 3 doubles, and a triple. So 7 extra base hits, it looks like, the Spartans had in that game overall, compared to the 1 extra base hit for the Dolphins, which was the Thomas Martin home run.
1 out of 16 extra base hits?
That would be correct from the stat sheet I'm looking at. Is that one, again for Jemison, that's the second time in this game where it looked like it was just going to be a routine single, but the ball just stopped and died in center field, and it leads to another double for him. So he's on early once again with a leadoff double and gives C.J. Cumbo an RBI chance.
Here's a look on the wide shot as we had our main pitcher-batter camera there. And you'll see that ball come to rest in center field. You might not see it well, but that's great base running by Jemison to pick that up and turn that into a double.
Now C.J. Cumbo coming up here. Santiago will have to try to avoid allowing that runner, I should say, from scoring from second base. Down the count early 1-0. As Kumbo hits that one into right center field. That's going to be a tough play for Ulaj. And it's going to go over his head and hit off the wall. Ulaj with a bobble in right field. It will allow the runner to score. We'll see if they rule that as a triple or a double and an error. Nonetheless, it's a run for the Spartans, and they now increase their lead. It's 11-4.
And that's another very well-struck ball right there. I think that probably goes down as a triple, but they did give an error on the play. So double and an error, Nick. You said it. And Spartans just keep on hitting. The Dolphins have had no answers.
Ulaj on the play went over his head, went to pick up the ball, and unfortunately dropped it as he went to make the relay throw. And that's why I said on the play, I think that goes down as a double and an error. Could potentially maybe held Kumbo at second. But now he's on third, and it gives Guerra now a chance to increase the Spartan lead to 8. As he's now behind the count 1-2.
It'll be tough to see here on the wide shot, but here's another look at that extra base hit into the gap by Kumbo. If we have live action, we'll cut away as that pitch does miss for a ball. So you'll see what happened out in center field. And the run coming home as Kumbo coasts into third.
2-2 now. Swung on, hit to second base. That will allow the runner to score. Myers had to take that one on a hop, and he's just able to make the throw in time to record the out. Run does score for the Spartans. They now lead this one 12-4.
Clean slate now for Santiago, who's allowed 2 runs, and I think it goes without saying the Dolphins can't afford to give up any more in this spot.
If they're going to have a chance the rest of the way, they really need some outs here from Santiago more than ever, as that one misses for a ball 1-0. The 1-0 swung on a hit to left field. Going to be easy enough, though, for Iraces. He's right there to track it down. A loud out number 2. And a big sigh of relief for the Dolphins there. As Guerra just... Well, LaGruda, I should say, I'm sorry. Rocketed that one into left field. And it looked like it was going to be trouble right off the bat.
That just goes to show, Nick, the kind of game baseball can be sometimes. That ball was smoked. And that's the one that goes for an out. We've seen some much more softly hit balls go for base hits in this game. A couple for extra base hits.
Nicholas O'Connor, the batter, now quickly up in the count 2-0. No action up in the Dolphin bullpen. You have to believe Santiago can get out of the inning. He'll come out for a second inning relief. That one's hit into center field. Going to be a tough play for Burkhead. It goes over his head and off the wall. Going to be a tough relay throw for him. They're going to send the runner to third. O'Connor is in there with a 2-out triple.
Dolphins once again with no answers as Spartans are now sending the ball to all fields, hitting it hard. And that's the second or third time we've seen one crushed out to center and right center by each team. Ulaj hit one out there earlier. The Spartans have hit a couple out there now. And the outfielders have certainly gotten a workout in this game.
Burkhead had to try to run that one down, just was not able to, considering where he is right now currently. He's kind of playing a little bit towards left center field. That one hit into right center field. And O'Connor, for the second straight day, is on with a triple. And now gives a chance here for Stack to add another run.
Earlier in this game, Dolphins were within 2. Now trailing by 8.
And the Jaro hits that one into center field. Going to be another long run for Burkhead. He might not have a play on this one, Joe. It is gone. Another home run for Greg DeJaro, his second of the game, and it's now 14-4.
DeJaro is having himself quite the 2 days here at the CSI Baseball Complex. It doesn't matter what the Dolphins have thrown him. He is getting good swings on everything he's dealt and has yet another home run.
Last time had a grand slam that just stayed fair. This one was no doubt about it. Hit that one into right center field. Ball looked like just kept carrying and carrying, and Burkhead just did not have a play. And a 2-out rally here for Stack. They put up 4 more runs once again, and now have a 10-run lead. And if you're the Dolphins, this has to be very worrying for you as you go into the later innings of this game. Having to come back from 6 runs is one thing, Joe. Now having to come back down from 10 is a lot more to ask.
No question about it. As Santiago gets the swing and miss there for strike 3, but a tall task ahead of this Dolphins team, Nick. They now trail by 10 runs. Our score, 14-4, headed to the home third.
If I lose, I'll respond with respect.
If I win, I'll back it up with humility.
If I fail, I'll rise up with honor.
It's tough for us to put it all on the line.
Don't undo my hard work with poor sportsmanship.
Respect. It's the name of the game.
Bottom of the third inning here from CSI. A 14-4 lead now for Stack as Vincent Weigel hits that one to center field, but Potenza is able to track that one down. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom of the third inning.
I just said it before, Nick. Each of these teams. I just said it before, Nick. Earlier today, I said that our sound mixer appears to be on the way out. A lot of the buttons are not functioning properly, but I was just talking with no microphone on. As I was saying, during the last half inning, I mentioned how both teams have hit the ball pretty well in this game. Dolphins have had a few shots out to right center field. Unfortunately for them, none of those have gotten down. The Spartans obviously have hit the ball extremely well. They have 14 runs.
Well, that one stay fair does not. It goes foul for Nick Cipollette. He's down the count now 0-2. And we saw DeJaro with that home run in the previous half inning hit into right center field. That ball just kept carrying and went over the wall. For Weigel there, unfortunately for CSI, that ball just did not carry as much. And Potenza was able to track it down to record the out. And if you're CSI in the situation, you got to start scoring runs now more than ever to try to at least give yourself a chance later on. As Cipollette hits that one up the second base, play will be made by Jemison, and there's now 2 away.
Dolphins did not score in the second. 2 up, 2 down here in the third. Though the Dolphins did strand runners on the corners during inning number 2.
The Dolphins had a chance in that last inning. Had 2 straight 2-out hits to give them an RBI chance. They'll need to do that once again to get themselves another chance here. It'll be up to Brian Burkhead. And look, you can see the shift, Joe. They are not going to give him a chance up the middle as he hits that one foul, 0-1.
Can't believe that there's a shift this extreme on. I can't remember ever seeing a shift this extreme for any hitter.
Right? It has a huge gap for where the shortstop would usually play. So if he's able to get something here, keep the inning going, but the Spartans will now allow him to hit anything over near the right center field as he hits that one foul. Is now in a 2-strike count.
It's not very often we see any teams shifting. This is as extreme a shift as I've seen. We'll get a look at it after this pitch.
Now it misses for a ball, now 1-2.
And that's a look at the defensive alignment right now for Stack on the infield.
You've seen Burkhead hit a lot of balls near the second baseman in these two games, and there's a reason why, Joe. The shift works out perfectly for them as Jemison, the shortstop, is able to make the throw in time to record the final out of the inning. Dolphins go 1-2-3 in the bottom of the third. We head to the top of the fourth inning. Stack leads this one, 14-4.
For me, just kind of was the glue that kept my family together, I feel like. I don't know what it was that drew me in, but after I started playing for a while and started seeing some early success as a little kid, to see how much it meant to my parents to see me play the game and try to make a difference was really what fueled me to keep playing and stay competitive. Being a triple major is not necessarily easy, but at the same time it is what you make it. Being a tighter-knit university, I have a lot of classes with the same professors, so they know me pretty well. I think it's that personal relationship that really helped me to thrive as a student. I was able to come here and get my triple major as well as play a super high level of baseball against some of the best players in the country. There's a lot of options here in Division II with a lot of great ball players and a lot of great people, and they make sure that they give you every opportunity to succeed on and off the field.
Christopher Conti will lead off for the Spartans here in the top of the fourth inning. Stack leads this one 14-4. As Angel Santiago is out for a second inning of relief. Behind early in the count, 1-0. And he misses with that one now, quickly behind 2-0. Dolphins really need some outs here, cannot afford to give up runs. But Santiago is quickly behind 3-0. Stack has scored a run in each of the top the first three innings, I should say. 6 in the first, 4 in the second, 4 in the third. As Santiago gets a strike there to now make it 3-1. Looks like there is some action in the CSI bullpen. Did see Aiden Kilty, who did pitch in yesterday's game, warming up at a point, would be the next man up for CSI. As the 3-2 from Santiago is hit to third base. Tough hop for Weigel. Throw on to first. Just in time. Just gone by an eyelash right there. As the Dolphins do get the first out of the inning. And when we have a second, we'll show you that on the replay. David Potenza's up as he takes a half-hearted swing foul to make it 0-1. Here's a quick look at the replay. Took a little bit of a bounce towards the end. And Weigel just at the very last second getting the out. And that one hit right to Weigel, and it's through for a base hit. So Potenza is on with a loud one-out single. Brings up Andrew Jemison here. Take a quick look at that. The hit right there from Potenza, I should say. Weigel just had to get out of the way to avoid a potential injury. As that one missed for a ball 1-0. The 1-0 to Jemison is low in the dirt. Good stop by Keogh, though. Prevents the runner from advancing. And it's now 2-0. Double play ball would be very big for the Dolphins here. If they try to get the first scoreless inning for their pitching, it's now a 3-0 count for Jemison here. This is a dangerous spot, too, for Santiago with the top of the order now up for the Spartans. 3-0. Call for a strike, 3-1. And my broadcast partner, Joe Foreman, has brought some treats now to the press box as Jemison works a walk to now make it first and second with one away.
Well, Nick, those are courtesy of CSI Softball, so we'll get a chance to enjoy
Very
those
nice.
cupcakes momentarily. They're going to be beating down the door in the room to our left.
Brings up now CJ Cumbo here. First and second, one away. The Dolphins really need to get a double play here. Cannot afford to give up any more runs with already trailing by 10. The 1-0 from Santiago. High and outside. He's quickly behind 2-0.
Dolphins bullpen got very crowded between the time I left and my return now.
We saw Aiden Kilty warming up. I believe he would be the next man in line for CSI. And with Santiago losing command now in this inning, once again behind the count 3-0. If you're Mike Morrow, another walk issued here, gotta believe there's gotta be a pitching change soon for CSI. The 3-0. Call for a strike now, 3-1.
I think who you use comes down to, do you still feel this game is within reach? And the way the Dolphins have swung the bats, I think a couple of innings ago, when it was 10-4, it was very much in reach. 14-4, maybe, but at what point do you get ready for this coming weekend against Deauville and give some of your regulars a rest?
We'll have to see with Santiago now at a 3-2 pitch. And that one misses high for ball 4. And once again, the Spartans will have the bases loaded. And this is really dangerous territory now. Already trailing by 10. And one big swing could make it a 13-run lead, maybe a 14-run lead if they get another grand slam.
Whose side are you on, Nick?
We're always impartial.
We are always impartial.
Always impartial. That one misses for a ball 1-0.
I think, too, it's important to remember this game just a 7-inning game. So a 10-run lead in the fourth looms a bit larger than it would in a 9-inning game. Though a 10-run lead is always a lead that is very tough to overcome.
If you're Santiago, get something into play here. Could certainly give CSI a chance. Guerra now behind in the count now, fouling that one off to make it now 1-2. Looks like a pinch hitter on deck for the Spartans. Looks like Justin Clayman will be the next man up. The 1-2. That one again hit foul. Count remaining 1-2.
So Lou's going to get a chance to announce his boy into the game.
Lou is going to get a chance. He wanted me to say it differently yesterday. The question is going to be, Joe, is he going to intentionally screw it up on purpose when Clayman comes up?
Better not.
Steph's saying no.
That would be really...
That one misses on the outside. Now 2-2.
If I wasn't the one who would have to answer for it,
Yeah.
and that was my friend coming to bat, I would definitely butcher it on purpose. But I have to answer for that, so we can't butcher it.
The 2-2. High pop-up. Cipolletti almost missing the ball there, but he's able to make the catch. And now the second out recorded from the Dolphins there.
Now coming to picture for the Spartans, number 23, Justin Clayton.
He said it right.
Of course he did.
He didn't want to do it on purpose. We kind of called him out to see what would happen or not. We put him on the spot.
He knew, as they say, there will be consequences.
Well, Clayman now comes into the game, Joe, with bases loaded, 2 outs, a chance for the Dolphins to get out of the inning, and for the first time in this game, have a scoreless inning with pitching. It'll be up to Santiago to try to get that final out. As that one's called for a strike. Clayman did enter the game in yesterday's game as a pinch hitter. Was retired on his lone at bat. And he's quickly behind the count 0-2.
Every out that each Dolphin pitcher can get in this game is huge because you can save that bullpen for the weekend, though the Dolphins do have a couple of days off in between now and Friday.
Clayman hits this one up the middle, and it's going to get through for a base hit. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score for the Spartans. A 2-run single for Clayman, and it's now a 16-4 lead for Stack.
And off the bench, Clayman comes through with a base hit. And this lead just keeps growing. We saw the Dolphins score in each of the first 4 innings yesterday. The Spartans have now scored in each of the first 4 innings.
And just an unfortunate sequence for CSI. Once again, 1 out away from getting out of the inning unscathed. But for the second straight inning, the Spartans getting a 2-out rally. And now they could get more runs potentially here with another single. Nicholas O'Connor fouled the first pitch off with down the count 0-1. This is dangerous, Joe, because the way DeJaro has hit already with a grand slam, a 2-run homer, has a chance to maybe get up once again with the bases loaded. The 1-1. Hit foul, and it's now 1-2.
And how many times have we said this, Nick? The Dolphins 1 strike away from getting out of an inning in a big spot, and the Dolphins just haven't been able to get that 3rd out without a couple of runs coming home in each inning.
See if they can get it here on the 1-2. Hit it into left center. This is going to be a tough play. And it's going to fall in for a base hit. It just looked like the Dolphins didn't make a call on who had the ball. 3 Dolphins converging on the play, and it falls in front of all 3 of them. Another run for Stack. And they now lead at 17-4.
And I think it's fair to say, Nick, that one, another bad break for the Dolphins on a softly hit ball. Stack has hit the ball well all afternoon, but this was not one of those instances, and it looked like the Dolphins might have a 3rd out there. Very quickly, it became clear that wasn't going to happen.
And now will lead to a pitching change for CSI. Santiago is out, and it looks like it's Aiden Kilty on. In relief for CSI. Kilty in yesterday's contest recorded just 2 outs. Allowed 4 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned. Did have a strikeout, but he did get the loss in that game. Was a part of that 9-run 7th inning for the Spartans. As he now comes in with first and second. 2 outs. Just really has been... The last couple of innings for CSI, Joe, just have really not gone their way as this game now starting to get a little bit away from them.
And the Dolphins got off to a good start in this series. They lost 2-1 in Game 1. They won 10-3 in Game 2. The Bats really came alive in that second game on Friday, and then things were going very well through the first 4.5 innings yesterday. And then things really began to spiral from there as the Dolphins ended up losing by 10. They now trail by 13, and will turn to Aiden Kilty for the 4th time in as many games. All of those appearances, of course, coming in relief. And for Kilty, On the season, he has now appeared in 15 games, including today's outing. He's pitched to an 0-2 record with a 6.39 ERA. In 25 1/3, he's allowed 31 hits, 25 runs, 18 of those earned. He's walked 10, struck out 13. Opposing batters hitting .301 against him.
And now facing Greg DeJaro, who's had himself a day at the plate. 2 home runs, the first one being a grand slam. The last time up, he had a 2-run homer. Look to add more runs to the Spartan lead here with first and second. As he takes that one outside for a ball, 1-0. The 1-0 from Keelty. Called for a strike now, 1-1.
Well, Nick, as we look ahead to the weekend, as it looks like I might be headed out of the booth within the next inning or so. We'll take a quick look ahead to the weekend before I depart, but that pitch just misses. The Dolphins and Mavericks, should the Dolphins fail to come back in this game, would be tied in the standings, identical records. That would mean the Dolphins have to be 1 game better than Mercy in their last 4, as that's a checked swing strike. But Dolphins have 4 against Duville. The Mavericks have 4 against Lincoln. The Dolphins' season could very well come down to that final game on Sunday. It could easily be a win in their in-game.
There's a nice stop by Weigel there. He's going to make the throw in time, though. It will not be. Infield hit for DeJaro there. And again, the Spartans will have the bases loaded here with 2 away.
So as I was saying, the Dolphins' season could very well come down to their final game on Sunday, as you'll get another look at that infield hit on the wide shot. But on Sunday, the Dolphins play their final game. Duville, or I should say, Mercy, ends their season on Saturday rather than Sunday. So the Dolphins will know on the final day of the season whether or not they have a chance to make the playoffs with a win or a chance to fall out of the playoffs with a loss. And I think for CSI, that's a nice advantage to have going into the final 4 games.
Lynch hits the one softly to short. And again, Joe, the Dolphins could not decide on who was getting the ball. Weigel and Cipolleti just did not call for it. And it leads to another run for the Spartans. They now lead this one 18-4.
Dolphins simply can't catch a break right now. Doesn't seem to matter where the Spartans hit the ball, what kind of contact they make. Dolphins simply can't get it out. And it is not all on them. Obviously, a lot goes wrong in a game with a score like this, but we've seen, of the 15 hits, probably 5 or 6 that very easily could have gone for outs.
And how about the Spartans' offense these last 2 games? 20 runs yesterday, now 18 runs today, and it's only the 4th inning for them. CSI just hasn't really caught those breaks, as you've said. And they're still looking for the final out of this inning, as Christopher Conti swung on and missed there to make it now 2-1.
And games like this, they just go to show you how important those top 2 starters are to the Dolphins' rotation. Esposito and Kehoe held the Spartans to 1 run each in 6 innings and 7 innings. And since Esposito exited the second game of the series, Dolphins pitching has really struggled.
And what a play right there from Myers. He just saved potentially 2 more runs there as he throws it on to first to record the final out of the inning. Another 4 spot for Stack here in the top of the 4th. We get to the bottom of the 4th inning. Spartans now lead this one 18-4.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
Bottom of the fourth inning from CSI, and now an 18-4 lead for the Spartans, as Anthony Irese will lead it off for CSI here in the bottom of the fourth. Another 4 spot for Stack in that top of the fourth inning. And unfortunately for CSI, just a lot of mishaps in the field, especially in that previous half inning, have led to this deficit. And now it'll be up to Irasi to try to get some kind of spark for CSI as we get later into this game.
Well, speaking of 4 spots, Nick, let's talk about what happened last night.
Yeah, a very unfortunate game last night. But you were there in person with Andrew Rotundo for that game.
Well, it was very fortunate for Andrew.
Very fortunate for Andrew.
Devils got lucky.
Yep. Andrew might not agree with you, but sure.
Admittedly, I am probably the biggest bandwagon hockey fan you'll meet. During the regular season, I hardly watched any games. I have season tickets for the Rangers. I went to 2 games out of, 41 home games?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
So I went to 2 out of 41. And then during the playoffs, I typically go to probably half of the games and then get rid of the other half, whether I sell them or give them to a friend, whatever the case may be. I probably go to about half of the playoff games. But I get really into it during the playoffs because when the playoffs start, that's typically when the season ends here at CSI. So we have fewer games. It's much easier to make time for playoff games. When tickets went on sale for Game 7, I called Andrew and said, if there's a Game 7 and we don't buy tickets, we'll definitely regret it. So I'll get us 2, and if there's a Game 7, we'll go. That turned out pretty well for him, not so well for me. But what I was getting to is that out of all the Ranger fans to be the last ones in the building during a 4-0 Game 7 loss, I'm probably the last person you would expect to be the last person in that arena wearing blue. And sure enough, I was one of about maybe 1% of that crowd left that were Ranger fans when the final buzzer sounded.
Well, you will be wearing a different shade of blue later on tonight as Irasi swings and misses for strike 3. Game 2 of the second round for the East playoffs between the Knicks and the Heat. I was there on Sunday for game number 1. Was an electric atmosphere for that game. Unfortunately, the Knicks did lose that game. Tonight, it should be more electric with them already trailing in the series 1-0. Should be a fun one between Knicks and Miami.
Well, I will say I've been to all but one of the home playoff games for the Knicks so far this year. The one game I didn't go to was the game you went to in round 1.
Yep.
I was there Sunday. I'll be there again tonight. I don't intend to miss any games during this round. We'll see if that works out. But great atmosphere on Sunday, and I think it goes without saying that especially if Jimmy Butler doesn't play, the Knicks need to win tonight.
Cannot afford going into South Beach trailing 2-0 in the series. It's realistically a must-win for New York tonight to even up that series going into Miami for game number 3. Jake Myers now up in the count, now 2-0.
And if you look at the NBA playoffs this year, it's clear that anything can happen. Look at the game last night between Philadelphia and Boston.
Yep.
No Joel Embiid, and Philadelphia pulls it out regardless. No Randall for the Knicks in Game 1. The Heat missing a bunch of key players, Oladipo and Hero, Butler rolling his ankle. Could miss this game tonight. Did go through shoot-around, though.
That'll be something to look forward to, especially with Randall. The Knicks could use him. You saw in that Game 1, they were struggling to shoot from the outside. They really could use someone like Randall to help overall with their shooting performance and even just getting some open looks. As Myers hits that one to second, Cumbo will throw it on to first, a low throw, but it's in time to record the second out of the inning.
Well, the Knicks, I watched a few more games this year. However, I went to none. I don't think I've gone a full season without going to a Knicks game in almost 20 years. I can't remember the last full Knicks season where I didn't go to a single game. I don't think I've gone a full regular season without going to a game since I've been a Knicks fan, which began in 2004.
Unfortunately, those were some dark times.
Well, the first game I went to in 2004 was during the playoffs. They had acquired Stephon Marbury that year.
Yep.
And I grew up a Nets fan. But the Nets at that time were in New Jersey. And I don't remember how I became a Nets fan in the first place. But I realized very quickly, born and raised in New York, from Staten Island, I'm a Knicks fan. So the Knicks got Marbury, who I liked in NBA Live. So I jumped over and became a Knicks fan. Then during the playoffs that year, they played the Nets, and I went to the only game that was close in that series. The Knicks lost by 3. And they lost by 3 due in part to a shot clock malfunction. The Knicks actually protested that game. The shot clock stayed at 16 seconds for about 15 seconds. The Nets had a 40-second possession in the final 2 minutes, but the NBA did not overturn the result. The Knicks lost by 3, got swept in the series, and the Nets went to the NBA Finals.
Well, hopefully the Knicks do not lose tonight in that game, too. We'll have to see how that one plays out in New York. Should be a fun atmosphere. Nonetheless, Nick Campese was the pinch hitter on that previous at-bat. He went down looking to record the final out of the inning. We head to the top of the 5th. Stack leads this one, 18-4.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
We are back for the top of the 5th inning here at CSI, an 18-4 lead for the Spartans. Alex Solero is the pinch hitter for Stack here. That takes the first pitch for a ball, 1-0. 9-1-2 for Stack here. Solero just hits that one, foul tipping it to make it 1-1. Mentioned that CSI has some big games upcoming this week against Duville. Ultimately could decide if the Dolphins make the playoffs or not this season. As Keelty now behind the count 2-1. Looks like the Dolphins have double action up in their bullpen. Swinging and miss there, that makes it 2-2. There's also some defensive substitutions for the Dolphins. Looks like Tyler Martinez is out in center. Michael Crocco is out in right field. John Castiglione is at first. And Anthony Sotero is at short. As that one just misses for ball 3. And the count now goes to full. Also Nick Campese behind the plate. As that one is swung on and missed for strike 3. So Keelty is able to record a strikeout there to record the first out of the top of the 5th. And that'll bring up Jemison here. Jefferson today, 2 for 3. Has scored 3 times in this game. He's up in the count 2-0. Has 2 doubles in a very unusual way he's gotten those doubles. 2 pop flies. And they've just fallen in front of the Dolphins. As that one wildly misses there And it's now a 3-0 count. Three and 0 count here. And that one again misses high for ball 4. So a first pitch walk, a 4-pitch walk, I should say, there. As Joseph Scamardella will now pinch hit here for the Spartans. We saw him enter in yesterday's game. Now comes up here with a runner on and one away. Spartans have scored in each of the 4 first innings of this game. Looking to do it for the 5th straight inning here. Dolphins looking for their first scoreless inning. Scamardella chops that one foul towards the CSI dugout, 0-1. Dolphins starting that series with D'Uva on Friday. The first of 4 games here at the College of Staten Island. As that one is called for a strike, now the count goes to 0-2. 1 game on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and the final game of the regular season on Sunday. And for the Dolphins, they're hoping it's not their final game of the season in general, as they try to get into the postseason. Count now is 1-2 here. And again, misses high for ball 2. Count now is even at 2-2. Two is outside now, and it's a full count at 3-2. Ryan Appel on deck as another pinch hitter will be coming up for the Spartans. And after having an 0-2 count, Kilty misses for 4 straight and allows a walk here. Ryan Appel now coming up with first and second, 1 away. Looks like that is Alex Martinez up in the CSI bullpen. Dolphins have got to be careful with how they use their relievers the rest of this way. For the game upcoming on Friday, they're going to need as much bullpen help as they can, or have to ask a lot out of their starters to go a long way in that game. The 0-1. Outside for a ball, 1-1. The 1-1 outside, or they actually called it a strike. And it's now 1-2. Looked like from here it was a little bit high and outside for ball 2. Now the count is 1-2. That one's outside for ball 2 now. Now it's 2-2. Two and 2 count here. And that one is foul tip, but into the glove of Campese for strike 3. So Kilty is able to record the second out there. Brings up Justin Clayman, who had a 2 RBI single his last time up. And once again, the Dolphins are an out away from a scoreless inning. They have not been able to say that today. They've had their chances. Has just gotten away from them, unfortunately. As that one misses low for ball 1. That one is ripped into center field. That's a base hit. 1 run will score for the Spartans. They'll hold the runner at third. It's another RBI hit for Justin Clayman, and it's now a 19-4 lead for the Spartans. That is now the 16th hit of the game for Stack. As Nicholas O'Connor now comes up. And once again, Clayman hitting that one right up the middle. And Martinez, the new center fielder, just had no chance on that one. As O'Connor hits that one into left field, and it goes foul. For the 5th straight inning, the Spartans have scored a run. A 20-run performance yesterday in the full 9-inning game. Now 19 runs here. Only through 4 2/3 of an inning in this game. And a hit right here will give them their 2nd straight 20-run performance. As that one misses for a ball now, 1-1. The 1-1 to O'Connor. Misses for a ball now, 2-1. The 2-1. That one's hit high. And the Dolphins almost had another mishap in the field with calling who had the final out of the inning. But it's Anthony Sotero, the new shortstop, in to record the final out and retire the side. But not before Stack scores another run in this game. They now lead this one 19-4 as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning.
My dad was a soccer coach and bought this little book bag. I could sit in the book bag like facing backwards and with like my legs out. So I'd be in his book bag when my dad coaches and the ball's going around. I'm like kicking at the ball in the back. And my dad was like, "We have a prodigy." So he put me into soccer and it just progressed from there. The catalyst was the opportunity to play soccer at a Division II school. On my team, I thrive to work as hard as I can. I mean, whatever you do on the field, there's a positive correlation to whatever else you do. Be it personal relationships, homework, the way you carry yourself. I've changed since I got to King University. It's really helped me to develop as a leader. I think it's honestly the best thing that's ever happened.
Michael Crocco will lead off here in the bottom of the 5th inning. A now 19-4 lead for the Spartans. As that one's low for ball 1. Crocco entered the game as a defensive sub for Shendi Ulaj, so his day is done. That one inside for a ball, now 2-0. First game of the 4-game series between the Dolphins and the Saints will be this Friday at 12 o'clock. Then 2 games on Saturday. The final on Sunday, as that's a slow roll to second. Cumbo throws it on to first in time. Or actually, Scamardella forgot to mention he was the new second baseman. He is the one that records the first out of the inning. Brings up Thomas Martin. Martin on the day is 2 for 2. That's an RBI already to his belt. After a 4 spot in the first inning for CSI. 3 straight scoreless innings. As that one misses for a ball inside, 1-0. The 1-0, call for a strike now, 1-1. Interesting to see what Mike Morrow does for the series against Duville when it comes down to who he starts for that series. As Martin hits that one, it is a big-time line drive to second, but a good job by Cumbo to scoop it and make the throw to first. And I said Cumbo again, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, Scamardella. He records the second out of the inning. Martin hit that one on a rope. But a good job by Scamardella. He was able to track it down. Now 2 away. And for the first time today at the plate, we'll see John Castiglione. He also entered in the previous half inning as a defensive sub as he hits this one into right center field. And it's going to drop in for a base hit. Castiglione will get an extra base hit out of this. And the Dolphins will keep the inning going. Anthony Sotera coming up for the Dolphins. And Castiglione, first at bat in the game, makes dividends there with that double. Inning does continue for CSI. And now Sotera coming up with a runner on second and 2 away. You saw Sotera in yesterday's game enter as a defensive substitution. First time he gets a bat here. As that one misses for a ball, 1-0. The 1-0. Low in the dirt for ball 2. And Castiglione will advance on the wild pitch. So the Dolphins now have a runner on third base with 2 away. Two-0. Just misses outside, and Sotera is up in the count now, 3-0. That one's in there for a strike to make the count now 3-1. Is action up in the Spartan bullpen. Almadé, though, has been very good these last couple innings, though, for the Spartans since that first inning. As he walks Sotera there to keep the inning going. Now I'll bring up Joe Solito. Sotera, the new third baseman. Solito, the new shortstop for CSI. He gets his first at bat of the day. And he takes that one for a strike, 0-1. On deck for the Dolphins is Tyler Martinez. He would also be getting his first plate appearance of the day. The 0-1 to Solito. Call for a strike, and he's quickly behind the count now, 0-2. 0-2 in the count. Salito trying to keep the inning going for the Dolphins. That one misses high and inside for ball 1. Two away in the inning. 1-2 count for Salito. And that one is swung on and missed for strike 3. Salito is down on strikes to record the final out of the bottom of the 5th inning. Dolphins do strand 2 runners on the corners. We now head to the top of the 6th. Stack leads this one, 19-4.
Champions know how to seize opportunities. When they see moments of greatness unfold right before their eyes, they push as hard as they possibly can, and then they push harder. Because the heart of a champion never settles, never quits, and never stops giving its all. We are champions. We are Division II. We go big, we give it everything we've got, and we win. On the field, on our campuses, in our communities, for our causes, in our careers. We rise to become champions in everything we do. We are Division II, and there are no limits here. We make our time count. We set our own path. We become champions on our terms. It's time to up your game, because we're here to play and learn. But most importantly, we're here to discover ourselves, our vision, our heart, our drive, to achieve every goal we aim for, because we want to be champions at the highest level, life. At Division II, the opportunities are here. Are you ready?
Top of the 6th here from CSI, a 19-4 lead for the Spartans. And another new pitcher for the Dolphins is Alex Martinez now is on in relief. Fourth time today the Dolphins have gone to the bullpen. And Martinez will try to keep the score that it's currently at. On the year, this will be his 12th appearance. He's pitched to an 0-4 record, 6.35 ERA, and 17 innings pitched. Leads the team with 2 saves. He's allowed 18 hits, 16 runs, 12 of those earned, 7 walks, and 21 strikeouts. Opponents are hitting .261 against him on the season. And he's quickly up in this count, 0-2. Half-hearted swing. Batter does not go. 1-2. Now, internally on the stack roster, there is not a number 11 listed for the Spartans. So, unfortunately, I'm not able to decide on who this is at the plate. So, we do apologize for that. 2-2 now from Martinez is low for ball 3, and the count now full at 3-2. Dolphins are hoping this will be the last time they have to go to the bullpen today. As the 3-2 misses high for ball 4. So a leadoff walk for the Spartans there. As Michael Zeiss is up for now for the Spartans. First time we get to see a play appearance from him. He hits that one high. Martinez at Campisi. Looking to see who will track that one down. Martinez is the one that makes the play. to record the first out of the inning. Peter DeVito now up for the Spartans. Another Spartan getting their first opportunity to hit in this game. As that one is low for ball one. Joe Foreman is now on his way to Madison Square Garden for game number 2 of the Knicks and the Miami Heat, so I will be on the call for the rest of this game solo. As that one's called for a strike to now make the count 1-1. Joe was not able to see the Rangers win last night. Hopefully he can see the Knicks win tonight. Big game 2 against the Miami Heat. As that one is low for a ball, and it's now 2-1. That one on the outside for a strike. Now, I originally said that the game on Friday was a 12 o'clock start. That is incorrect. The game on Friday is a 2 p.m. start. The games on Saturday and Sunday are both 12 o'clock starts. So a 2 p.m. start on Friday for the first of 4 games against the Saints, as Martinez gets a strikeout there to record the second out. That brings up Solero now for his second at-bat of the game. Struck out his first time. That one low and outside, but a good block from Campese to now make it 1-0. Dolphins will be doing some scoreboard watching as this week goes on with Mercy. We'll be watching what the Mavericks do, as well as trying to get some wins against the Saints. Joe Foreman mentioned it earlier. Sunday could indeed be the deciding factor who makes the playoffs between those two teams. As that one misses for a ball, now 2-1. And for the Dolphins, when you have 2 games like this back-to-back, they really need to retrack and regroup going into that series on Friday, as that one is ripped down the third base line for a base hit. It will be an extra base hit for Solero. They will hold the runners at second and third, and a chance for Stack to add more runs to their lead. They now have second and third with 2 away. And it brings up the top of the order for the Spartans and Andrew Jemison. Jemison today 2 for 3. 2 doubles, 2 walks. Has scored 4 times today. And he hits a little dribble in front of the mound, but it goes foul. Would have been a tough play for Campese there. Jemison early on is down the count 0-1. Oh, 1 is low and outside for ball 1. Count now going to 1-1. Stack trying to score for the 6th straight inning, as time was called there. Inside now for ball 2. Skye Mardella is on deck if the inning were to continue. As Jemison again chops it foul And it's now 2-2. That last double for the Spartans, giving them their 17th hit of the game. They had 19 in yesterday's contest. As the 2-2 is outside, and now it's a full count at 3-2. Full count, 3-2 for Jemison. And that one is hit into left field. But the catch will be made by Iracy to record the final out of the inning. Stack does strand 2 runners on base. First time today the Dolphins get a scoreless inning out of their pitchers. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Stack leads this one, 19-4.
Cobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials. Live music. And the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Bottom of the 6th inning here from CSI. Tyler Martinez will lead it off for the Dolphins. A 19-4 lead for the Spartans and a new pitcher for Stack as number 29 Ricardo Gonzalez is on in relief. This will be his 5th appearance of the season. He is 0-1. He's only pitched in 4 1/3 of innings, so with a big lead like this for Stack, able to go into their bullpen and use guys that they relatively don't use as much from their bullpen. Gonzalez has allowed 12 hits, 10 runs, all of them earned, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts. Dolphins in the inning will have Martinez, Iracy, I believe Jake Myers, depending on if they pinch hit or not. Could be Christopher Hayes. We do see him with a helmet and a bat, so it looks like he would be the 3rd man up in the inning. Martinez down the count early, 0-1. And he hits that one foul to now make it 0-2. If Hayes were to get in, he did start in yesterday's game. It'll be his first official at-bat of this game. As is the case for Martinez here at the plate. The 0-2. Inside for a ball, now 1-2. The 1-2. Swung on and missed for strike 3. An early strikeout for Gonzalez there as he retires Martinez for the first out of the inning. Originally Christopher Hayes was in the hole at one point, as I was going to say. Butchered my words a little bit there. He was in the hole at a point, but Mike Morrow has brought back out Jake Myers. He is now on the on-deck circle. Zyracesi's up in the count now 1-0. And that one misses outside now 2-0. Dolphins will have a couple days in between. Try to regroup from this one. As Iracesi now up in the count 3-0. Dolphins certainly have gotten some good swings in this game. They just haven't caught the breaks that the Spartans have gotten in this game. As that one was there for a strike to make it 3-1. Iracesi hits this one to third. Throw on to first is in time to record the second out of the inning. Nice job by O'Connor there. And that'll bring up Jake Myers here. For a split second, it looked like Myers was going to be taken out of the game, but remains in the game here. With 2 away as he goes first pitch swinging and hits that one foul to make it 0-1. Count now 0-1 to Myers. And that one misses low for a ball, 1-1. Campese, the man on deck for the Dolphins, if the inning were to continue. Slow roller to third. Going to be another tough play for O'Connor, and he's not going to have a throw as it went right by past him. That will go down as the 8th Dolphin hit of the game as Myers keeps the inning going.
Now batting the catcher, number 5, Nick Campese.
We'll have to get a better look at that one. It looked like O'Connor had the ball at first. And was going to make the play. Get a quick look at it there. And it just went right under his glove. So the inning will continue for the Dolphins. As Nick Campese takes the first pitch for a ball, now 1-0. That one low for ball 2, now 2-0. And Campese now quickly up in the count, 3-0 here. If he were to get on, it would be Michael Crocco on deck for CSI. And Campese on 3-0 swings. It's a high pop up to first base. In foul territory, the catch is made to record the final out of the inning. Dolphins strand a runner on first base. Get nothing more than the single in the inning. We head to the top of the 7th. Stack leads this one, 19-4.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends, live sports and watch parties, to Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Top of the 7th inning here at CSI. Spartans lead this one 19-4. And the Dolphins making another pitching change as they now effectively lose the DH in the game. Jake Myers is the new pitcher for CSI. Was originally the second baseman. Now moves out into the mound. This will be only his second appearance of the season. As that one is hit into center field by Scamardella, and he gets a leadoff single. Now the defensive subs for the Dolphins go as this. Myers is now the new pitcher. Michael Crocco now moves from right field to second base. And Christopher Hayes is now out in right field for the Dolphins. First pitch was a strike there to make it 0-1. Man at the plate for the Spartans is Freddie Flugger. As he just chops that one foul to keep it 0-2. Another 0-2 for Myers. And that one is hit into right center field. Martinez is there. He will record the play right there. And there's one away.
Now coming in a pinch hit, number 22, Robert Hazelton.
Robert Hazelton now is in the pinch hit for the Spartans. As he goes first pitch swinging, goes foul. And it's 0-1. That one's high for ball one. Count now even at 1-1. 18 hits now in this game for the Spartans after that hit to lead off the inning. As Campisi throws it to first, will not be in time. The count now goes 2-1. And that one is in there for a strike to even the count at 2-2. As that one is called for strike 3, and there's now 2 away.
The third baseman, number 34, Nicholas O'Connor.
Nicholas O'Connor now at the bat. Looks like we've solved the issue at who number 11 was for the Spartans, is Eric Volpe. Number 17 on the roster. Came into the game with 11 on his jersey. As O'Connor hits this one into center field. And did they give Martinez the catch? It does not matter. He does not make the catch. It's a base hit. O'Connor does get into second. And the inning will continue for Stack. It looked like at first Martinez trapped the ball to make the catch.
Now batting the first baseman, number 11, Eric Volpe.
But it just went out of the glove. And it leads to that double there. And another tough break for CSI in this game. Now the 19th hit for the Spartans there. We spoke about Volpe now with the number change for this game. He now comes up with first, or I should say with second and third. And 2 away, but he gets hit by the pitch on the first pitch of the at-bat. And the bases will be loaded once again for the Spartans.
Now batting the catcher, number 43, Michael Zeiss.
Michael Zeiss now coming up. A bases loaded chance here. And there's a strike from Myers, 0-1. That one is hit through for a base hit. 1 run will score. 2 runs will score for the Spartans. A 2-run single for Michael Zeiss. And it's now a 21-4 lead for the Spartans. On what is now the 20th hit of the game for Stack.
Now batting the left fielder, 0, Peter DeVito.
Peter DeVito now coming up. Here's the wide shot look of that previous hit. As DeVito takes a big swing and a miss for a strike, 0-1. I was trying to look up the last time Jake Myers pitched. And that was against East Stroudsburg. As the play is made from Crockle, he goes the short way to short, or it's the second base to the shortstop, to record the final out of the inning. We now head to the bottom of the 7th. Stack now leads this one, 21-4.
Being a champion takes more than talent, more than the perfect pass, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the spirit to always push harder, the ability to overcome any hurdle, and the fire to be the best. Welcome to Division 2, where the pursuit is yours to create. And the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Bottom of the 7th inning here from CSI. Michael Crocco will lead it off for the Dolphins as he goes first pitch swinging, hits that one foul, 0-1. Mateo Reyes is the new pitcher for the Spartans here. Reyes will be his 14th appearance on the year. 2-1, does lead the team in saves with 3. And 18 in the third innings pitched. 17 hits allowed, 7 runs, all of them earned, 7 walks, 19 strikeouts, and a 3.44 ERA. Count now is 1-2 as that one missed. Count now 2-2. With the Dolphins making the pitching change in the last inning, with Myers going from second to the mound, it led to DH being no longer for CSI. As that one again misses, and it's now 3-2. So in the inning it'll be Crocco, then it'll be Christopher Hayes, and then John Castiglione. A now 3-2 count. And a great at bat from Crocco. Down 0-2, he works a walk to lead off the inning.
Now batting the right fielder, number 19, Christopher Hayes.
For the first time today we see Christopher Hayes getting an at bat here. Hayes entered as a defensive substitution. Did get the start in yesterday's game. As he takes the first pitch for a ball, 1-0. The 1-0. Call for a strike there to make it 1-1. Next time we are live here on CSI Sportsnet, will it be the start of that 4-game series with the Saints on Friday? First pitch scheduled around 2 o'clock. As that one misses for a ball to make it 2-1. Biggest 4 games of the season for CSI coming up this week. They'll have 3 days to rest from this game. 1 game on Friday, as I mentioned. Then 2 on Saturday. And the final game of the regular season on Sunday. 2-2 to Hayes. Misses for a ball, and it's now full of 3-2. Dolphins looking to record the second straight walk of the inning. A 3-2 count for Hayes here. And he swings and misses for strike 3. Ray is throwing a high fastball there. And Hayes just was not able to reach up on that one. And as he gets the first out of the 7th, and brings up John Castiglione. Castiglione, his first time up, had a double into right center. Another double here maybe could bring home the runner from first. As there's a strike to make it 0-1. Have to think of who the Dolphins could potentially start on Friday for that single game. As there's a ground ball through for a base hit. Second time, Castiglione is up. Second time, he's on base with the hit. As he gets a 1-out single there. Dolphins will have first and second with 1 away. And Anthony Satara now coming up. You have to believe with that game on Friday, CSI would potentially turn to either Ryan Kehoe or John Esposito. Dolphins, most of the time, usually save that for a doubleheader, which could be the case on Saturday, as there's time being called at home plate. Now, I'm not sure what the conversation is about. Looks like they're kind of pointing towards the CSI bullpen. Wondering if something, maybe the tarp out there? And I believe, oh, I see what. So they put the tarp out in the bullpen, and the Dolphins put a weight down on it, or a bag it looks like on it, to prevent the tarp from coming up. And the umpire noticed it, and that's why time was called there. Count now is 1-0. And that's high and inside for ball 2. Two and 0 count. Tatera hits that one foul, and it's now 2-1. Two and 1 count. And that one misses for ball 3. Terra has worked the count to 3-1. And if he were to get on, he would load the bases for Joe Solito. And that one's in there for a strike. And the count is now full at 3-2. Three and 2 pitch here for Satera. Dolphins have first and second, one away. Satera hits that one into right field. That's going to drop in for a base hit. Crocco around third. He will score. Advancing to third is Castiglione. An RBI single for Satera. And the Dolphins now trail us 121-5. Great at bat for Satera there, as he was able to drive home the run there. Dolphins will have now first and third, one away for Joe Solito. Mound visit for the Spartans there. As Reyes trying to get the final 2 outs of this game. Sac looking for their 14th win in conference play. As the first pitch, Solito is in the dirt for a ball, 1-0. And once again, this game comes down to the amount of extra base hits and pitching overall for this game. As that one is grounded to short. Could be a double play ball. Jemison throws it to second for one. Throw on to first is not in time. So Salido does reach first. Dolphins bring home the 6th run of the game for them, and it's now 21-6. Looked like Jemison at first bobbled the ball, and that prevented the double play.
Tyler Martinez.
So Tyler Martinez comes up here. We're now 2 away. Dolphins are down to their final out. And he takes the first pitch strike. Second straight game, the Dolphins with double-digit hits. But this one just got away from them, unfortunately. As they are now down to their final strike, Martinez is down the count 0-2. Really tough to overcome a deficit. Stack scoring a run in each of the first 5 innings of this game. As Martinez just got a piece of that one to keep the count 0-2. The Dolphins made it interesting at the end of the first inning. After giving up 6 in the top of the inning, they got 4 back to make it a 2-run game going into the second. But that grand slam from Greg DeJaro pretty much was the difference maker the rest of the way. As that one's in the dirt, it will allow Salido to go to second. So now Martinez will have an RBI chance here with a single. Count now going to 1-2. And that one goes foul down the third base line to keep the count 1-2. It'll be a 1-2 again from Reyes. And that one is hit to second base. Throw will be made in time to record the final out of this one. And the Spartans take this one 21-6 is the final. Stack with 21 runs on 20 hits. Dolphins were able to get 6 runs on 10 hits. But once again, unfortunately for CSI, the pitching did not really help them in this one. Game got away from them after the second inning, and they fall in this one 21-6 as now they go in to a huge 4-game series with the Deauville Saints starting on Friday, and what pretty much could be, or pretty much will be, all must-win games for the Dolphins if they were to get into the postseason for this year. They will also be watching what the Mercy Mavericks do in their next couple of games as the Dolphins try to stay in front of Mercy in the overall standings. The Dolphins now falling to 7-13 in conference play, and that's big considering they're now tied with Mercy for that conference record. So the Dolphins now will need to pick up some wins against the Saints this upcoming weekend if they're going to have a chance to make the postseason, as well as check and make sure that the Mavericks can lose maybe 1 or 2 games down the stretch of the season in order for CSI to make the postseason. We'll have to see where it goes from there. But that is going to do it for us here on CSI Sportsnet. Final once again, Stack takes this one 21-6. Spartans now with the win, improving to 14-6 in conference play, 21-23 on the season. The Dolphins with the loss now falling to 7-13 in conference play, and an overall record of 15-24. Dolphins will look to pick up some key wins this upcoming weekend as the first game of that 4-game series with the Saints starts on Friday. 2 o'clock start here on CSI Sportsnet. We will bring you that action for the first of 4 games, and will ultimately be the biggest games of the season for the College of Staten Island Dolphins. This has been Nicholas Pavona here at CSI Sportsnet. We thank you for tuning in for today's coverage. We will be back here on Friday for the pivotal 4-game set with the Saints. First game is at 2. Saturday will be a doubleheader starting at 12. And Sunday, the final game of the season of the regular season, will be at 12 o'clock as well. Be sure to tune in for this week's enticing action here on CSI Sportsnet. Have a great rest of your day.